Well, hey everybody, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here. What is going on? Am I hearing myself in my headphones? Anyway, let me know if you're not hearing me. It's another Wednesday. Here we are, Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. Couple of reminders. All of the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. Everything that we've been doing in the last few years is right there. You can go there and listen to all the shows, and there's so much information, and it doesn't cost you a nickel. Also, if you are interested in voiceover coaching from me, davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top, and away you go. Now, without further ado, let's welcome the one, the only, Melissa Moats.
Hey! Hello, Dave Fennoy.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy to be here and get to hang out with you tonight. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Mo is running late. She's probably going to pop in at some point to say hello.
Oh, good.
And if
I'd love to do that.
Troy's around, he can pop in and say hello. If not, just let him know hello and we wish him well.
Absolutely. If he pops his head in here, I'm going to make him come over and say hi.
All right. You know, you're such a sweetheart, such a nice person, and such a boss businesswoman.
Oh, tell me more.
No, and it's so true. It's so true. You have so many accomplishments for us to talk about. And those of you who are knocking on the voiceover doors, hey, get your questions ready. We're going to have some wonderful answers. But I'm going to start with some of my questions. How did you get interested in voiceover work in the first place?
Oh my gosh. Ever since I was a little girl, I used to love mimicking commercials on television. I didn't even know it was called voiceover when I was little. But I used to always like run around the house and try to recreate with my strawberry shortcake cassette player commercials of the 80s that I would, hear on television. And I used to tell my parents that's what I wanted to do when I grew up, and they would say, "You're going to do it." And when I moved I'm trying to remember when I moved to Vegas in 2000, UNLV had a catalog that somehow hit my mailbox, and they had a voiceover class in it, and I decided to just dive in and see what it was all about, and absolutely fell in love. The very first class, I was like, "Yep, this is my path." So
This
that's
is
how it
neat.
started.
Okay,
This is
and how long did it take you before you were studying, and how long before boom, I've got this career going?
Yeah, so I took my time with it. I trained for, I want to say it was between a year and a half, pretty regularly, once a week with a mentor that I did the initial class through UNLV, but the lady that was teaching at the time, she was really wonderful. She took me under her wing and said, "You just let's really work on this together every week." And she had some other like more master classes that she was doing from her home studio. So I went about I think it was like every Tuesday night for about a year and a half. And then I did my first demo. It was on a cassette tape, which is
Oh boy.
hilarious. Yeah, I still have it. It's up here on my shelf. And I remember vividly when I got my first demo. I was in my Volkswagen Beetle. I had the yellow pages on my front seat of my car, some little packages of cookies, and a whole bunch of demo tapes. And I was driving all around Las Vegas, stopping at production companies and just saying hello and dropping off my tape and saying, "I'd love the opportunity to, be on your roster." And that was really how it started. I was invited in to do a few like live readings because, you know how it goes. They wanted
Oh
to
yeah.
vet me and make sure I was as good as my demo and all that good stuff. And so that was literally how I got started. I was on a few talent rosters here in Vegas. And I think that was in like 2001-ish when I first started doing that.
You know, you really were ahead of the curve on self-promotion then. I started in LA in 1990, and we did a little bit of self-promotion. but you really kind of counted on your agents to do most of that or supply you with some information, give this person a call. Uh, but I think probably because you were in Vegas and
Mhm.
there was a time you had New York, Chicago, LA. Those were the spots. So you kind of had to find a way for Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was a little different. And you know how when you're brand new at something, you don't know what you don't know. And I was doing everything absolutely wrong as far as the industry standards at that time were concerned, because I didn't really know that I really didn't know how to access getting an agent because I live in a smaller market, and back then it was just a matter of me connecting with some production companies and getting things started. And then I really started to see the potential of reaching out to people outside of the Las Vegas market and building relationships. And I'm not shy, definitely not shy. So it wasn't scary to me to reach out to people and just ask for help, ask, if there was an opportunity that I could potentially, get on a roster. I didn't get my first agent until 2007. And
Wow.
when I signed with my first agent in LA, they asked me if I would be interested in being an agent because I had so much hustle. I had a lot of hustle in my game, and I was real confused by that. And I said, "No, I don't want to be an agent. I
I
want to
don't think so. No, that's not. Now,
I
now,
took it as a compliment."
now, you have had so much success, and I know the majority of your work is in commercials. Yes.
Yes, yes.
And I think people will be amazed by the roster of clients you've had. What are some of the clients you've worked for and work for?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm really good at selling everything from furniture to groceries to cars to bras to weight loss. I mean, you name it, I'm into it. My little tagline for my branding is "That girl can sell anything." So, but I think some people might recognize me from for a few years. I was the brand voice of Ashley Furniture Home Store, and Best Western Hotels, Jenny Craig, Proactive back in the day, Keeping America Zit Free. Just so many. I feel very thankful that I've had the opportunity to be the audible brand ambassador for so many well-known household brands, and I enjoy it so much, and it's so fun. So I mean, those are a few just off the top of my head.
And we're going to get to some questions, I'm sure, from people about how they can further their careers and so
Yeah.
forth, and tips about that. But 10 years ago, well, we're at an anniversary here. Uh, you got a wild hair and decided you were going to open a school for voiceover. How did that come
Yes.
about?
Well, it was a really organic progression. I didn't sit down and write a proper like business plan that I was going to open up a voice acting school essentially, but I had just started helping people from my home studio. You know how that it's the right thing to do when somebody asks you for help and they ask you to pay it forward, or they don't ask you to pay it forward. You feel compelled to pay it forward. They just say, "Hey, how do I get started in voice acting?" I was just helping people from my home studio for a few years. And one day, it was like a Saturday morning, 36 people showed up at our house for voiceover, quote unquote, class. And you know that scene in the movie Jaws where they go, "We're going to need a bigger boat." You know,
Yes.
that moment, Troy and I, my husband and I, Troy, of course,
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
saying
Oh
it
yeah.
for everybody who's hanging out with us today. He goes, "Oh my gosh, our neighbors are going to be so mad at us." So we were like, "We better figure this out." So I had two choices. Either A, I needed to chill out and stop, coaching and helping people, or B, we needed to do it in a different way, where we needed to really have a proper studio to, accommodate and help. So we took a chance, we took a risk. I was terrified to sign a lease in a commercial location and kind of go in and on faith, honestly, that things were going to be okay. And our very first voiceover class as the voice actor studio was on Valentine's Day 2015. And I remember 4 people showed up. And I was like, oh man, 4 people. But I mean, I still showed up fully. I don't care if I'm helping one person or 30 or 100, it doesn't matter to me. I'll still show up fully. But I was just like, I hope we made the right decision, but it trickled out. People found out about us, and it's just been such a beautiful journey, and it's so rewarding to get to meet so many aspiring talent and to be able to be there and help them.
Oh, yeah. Now, so we've just had your 10-year anniversary there. I am proud to say that I have been there several times to teach classes, and you have brought in some of the best people in the business to also teach. What are some of those names?
Well, we've got Andrea from Blizzard Entertainment right now doing a 4-week course with us, which we are so thankful to have her with us. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. I'm sorry you're putting me on the spot, but so
You know
many.
what?
You, Dave Fennoy, and my brain just went completely blank, like I don't know, I'm frozen. I'm sorry,
Oh,
but
don't feel bad. I do it all the time. I can see the face, can't remember the name. It's something
well,
about gray hair.
yeah, yeah. Well, I might have a few that I'm hiding under this hair color myself. Wink, wink. But well, we've had Pandora has come several times. We've had a lot of producers from iHeartMedia. We've got a lot of producers just from coast to coast that have done really awesome workshops for us, and we've had a lot of talent get on rosters just from having the opportunity to get to connect with them and read for them. We've had agents come in from various parts of the country. I'm sorry I'm not name dropping anybody, but I mean, just we've had a lot of really great people come in. We've had this really cool guy named Dave Fennoy come in. So, it's just, I feel really blessed because, and very thankful that so many people in our industry have been so supportive of my vision of just helping people. It's just, I remember when I started, there were so many blanks, there were so many question marks, and I was trying to connect dots and fill gaps and understand how so many things worked. And I just love being able to kind of help streamline it for people and get them from point A to point B. There's a lot of this in between,
Oh,
but
yeah.
just to help them out. So there's that.
Well, as a teacher, what are some of the biggest challenges you see that students have to overcome?
Well, the biggest thing I see is just people really believing in themselves, trusting themselves. It's an interesting thing to watch someone come in and be vulnerable. And when you're an adult, we're so busy adulting that sometimes it's difficult to tap into our creativity and just play and just use our imagination and have fun and and just let go and surrender, right? And when I'm working with new talent, I see so many of them just not trusting themselves. And my biggest thing as a coach is just letting them know that I'm there, I'm on their team, and I want to help them trust themselves. That's the biggest thing that I see as far as like the first big hurdle.
Okay, and people who have been working with you and have gone on to have successful careers, and I know it's thousands of people who have been through the voice actor studio over the past 10 years. and many of them have become successful. How long are they usually looking at it? Does it just vary a lot, or is it, oh yeah, a year and a half, and people are kind of what
Yeah,
have you
I
seen?
mean, I would say it does vary a lot based on what people come in with. I mean, if they've got a lot of acting in their background, a lot of performance, and they're not in their own way and in their own head, and they're ready to just really get in there and roll up their sleeves and do the work. I mean, I've seen some talent be ready to cut their demos and hit the ground running within 6 months, but that's fast, I think. And it's rare. I would say it's more that around 9 months to a year is probably the average. And that would be if a talent is working pretty steadily on their craft and coming in and getting feedback pretty regularly. But a lot of people want to rush it. They want to rush the process. And I always say you can't rush skill development. That's just one thing you can't rush.
And different people are going to learn at a different pace. Some people are going to come with uh, more natural talent. Some people are going to have to learn it and get over themselves a little bit. What do you think some of the biggest mistakes are that people make when they start knocking on the voiceover door? Is it a misconception? What do you see, and how do you fix it?
Yeah, I think I see a lot of talent romanticizing what they think that voice acting is or what they think professional voice actors do, and they miss the part that there's a lot of work that goes into it. They love the idea of oh, I do all these impressions, or I can do this with my voice, I can do that with my voice. They're so into that part of it, which of course that's important. That's a really big part of it. But they miss the fact that you have to have discipline. They miss the fact that you really have to be in the driver's seat of your own career, and you've got to be willing to put yourself out there. You've got to be consistent with auditioning and marketing efforts. Nobody's going to just show up and drop work in your lap. I mean, it happens on occasion and it's really nice, but most of the time it's from putting in a lot of effort.
Putting in the time
So
and
I think
effort.
that's what a lot of talent, newer talent, miss or don't want to. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear that it's fun. That we're just going to get in front of a mic and play. Which, heck yeah, when we get to do that, it's super fun. So
It's funny. I always look at my actual work is auditioning, and when I have the job, it's just fun. No matter what it is, no matter what the genre is, I'm having a good time. But the auditions, that's where you really, really, really have to concentrate. And once you do that on the job, it's hey, let's just do this thing and have a good time. I want to get some questions in here, so I want your questions for Melissa Moats. She is a wealth of talent and information. And here's one. Andrew Paul VO. Question for Melissa. Do you have any tips for non-union VO actors like me?
do I have any tips for you? Um, I'm trying to think of it. I guess specifically to non-union. I mean, there's just a lot of great non-union work out there. I guess my biggest tip would just be go after it, go get it, go audition.
I think his question might be, how does he find those auditions? What are the ways once he is trained, has the right demos, has his website? Where can he look for work in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I always explain to my students that I mentor, I think of it as a big pie chart, right? There are four main ways to opportunities that I touch on all the time. One is when you're brand spanking new, dipping your toe into some casting sites just to kind of get a feel for looking at casting specs and going through the process of auditioning and submitting. It's a good place to go to just kind of see what's happening a little bit. You might get a few bites, but it's really good practice. Marketing yourself directly to production companies based on the genres that you work in. The third one is once you get some experience and you get a little bit of a track record going, starting to reach out to agents. And then the last one would be business to business, B2B. I think sometimes we overlook the relationships that we have with people who already own small businesses, friends, family, places we frequent, letting people know, like, hey, if you need a phone hold recorded for your business, I'd love to do that for you. If you need a welcome video for your website, I'm a voice actor. I'd love to do that for you. Need a commercial? Love to do that for you. So sometimes we overlook just like the obvious of places we frequent, people we know. So those are my four main places to go after work as a non-union voice actor.
And I think we can even expand on that. Where commercials might be now, we have this thing called the internet, and there's TikTok and Facebook, and all these ads that are showing up there that may not be on television.
Yep.
And you could go around and talking to the businesses in your area and start doing ads that way. Amazing,
Absolutely.
amazing, amazing. Let's see. Joy West. VO business, like all businesses, are not created like a sprint. It's a marathon. Oh, that is so true. Uh,
So
and
true.
and they're going to be ups and downs. Ups and downs.
Hmm.
DF Raisin. Hi, Melissa and Dave. Melissa, knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time, is there anything you would do differently on your path in VO?
Probably the biggest thing, it's such a good question. I would say I wouldn't be shy or hesitant about asking people for help. I did ask people for help, but I remember tiptoeing in and being a little nervous about it. And everyone in the voiceover industry that I have crossed paths with is so helpful and so kind and so rooting for you. It's just that's like the spirit of the voiceover world. Um, so I would say don't be afraid to ask for help, and ask boldly because someone's going to help you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. Amy Vrikin, should I be looking to contact commercial studios in town, letting them know I'm available for work? What's the best way to reach out? When you say commercial studios, what do you think she means? Are we talking about production houses?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm interpreting it is production, studios. And yeah, I mean, I would say nowadays people are a little bit more, it can be a little off-putting to stop in person. If you stop in person, at least bring them some cookies. But I would say, I would say make it crumble. No, I'm just kidding. I would say sometimes emails get lost in a sea of emails, right? So try engaging a little bit with their social media posts and just, let them get a little familiar with your name, like some of their stuff. Don't be too schmoozy, people can smell that a mile away, but try to interact a little bit with their posts, and then maybe give them a call on the actual telephonio and say, hi, I'd love an opportunity to connect with you, and I'd love a chance to be on your roster. I've been following you guys on social media and I love what you do. I think it's being more doing your homework and being a bit more personal with your approach in marketing is a lot more effective than casting the net far and wide, so to speak.
It's interesting that you bring that up. I've talked to students of mine and other people trying to get in the business, and often they want to use, say, LinkedIn. And my advice is always don't shoot your shot out to 100 people. Narrow it down to 5 or 10 at a time. Find out who they really are, what it is they really do. Uh, are they really somebody that would be looking for a voice actor to do some work, because I get all the time people asking me, "Oh, do you want to hire me to do some voiceover?" Well, no. Make sure you're hitting people where they are for what they want, and find out something about them. People want to
Yeah.
know that you're not just saying, "Hi, I do voiceover. Can you give me a job?" They
Yeah.
want to know that you've checked them out, that you know what they do, and always go in with the attitude, "I can help you with something. Is there some way I can help you?" As opposed to, "Give me a job. I need some money."
Yeah, it's like that when you're being really sincere and you're telling someone why you want to work with them, you really love their, maybe you saw a commercial that that they produced or a show or whatever on um, Discovery Channel, something like that. And you're like, I'm a huge fan of what you guys do, and I would love the opportunity to be a part of it. And you use some specificity in the way that you write to them, and you're a solution to them, like you said, Dave. Like you're there to help. You're excited and enthusiastic about the opportunity to team up with them. I think it's much more powerful and
Yeah.
effective.
Never ask for a job, offer your services.
Yep.
Let's see. Carlos Robles from Melissa Moats. Other than commercials, are there any memorable roles you enjoyed being a part of?
Yeah, I a couple of fun ones for me. I had a chance to do some little kind of SNL style parody interactions with the Ellen Show. That was a hoot, where I got to do like a fake commercial ad for Chrissy Teigen and got to interact with Ellen a little bit on her show, and that was really fun for me. I really enjoyed that one. So that's a
Oh,
standout for me.
fantastic. He has a follow up comment. Oh, this one's for me. Also, a huge fan of your rodent character from Bayonetta series, Mr. Fennoy. Why, thank you very, very much. Big question here, or it's long. Let me see what it is. Mac McGee. I entered the voice acting world with no experience and a plan. Take a class, start doing gigs to pay for more classes, and be working all over in a year. Yeah, plan went out the windows quick. 6 years in, still barely part time, still learning. And I'm just going to say, Mac, sometimes it takes longer than other times for different people. I know I was very fortunate. Uh, I came out of radio. I took some classes with some people from Los Angeles, an agent, and she said, "Oh, we'd love to represent you." I didn't know at the time how lucky I was because people are knocking on these doors, and we have more people trying to do voiceover now than ever before. There's also more work now than ever before, uh, but there's competition out there. But I'm just going to say this: everybody that's knocking on these doors, you have something unique about you that the market can use. Let's see. Amy Vreeken again. I love that. Engage on social media and phone call. Yes, thank you. You know, a lot of kids these days, and there's so many more kids with all this gray hair. If you're under 40, you're a kid now to me. But there are so many people that are uncomfortable on the phone,
Yeah.
and even uncomfortable talking to somebody in person. You got to get over that. You just got to get
Yeah.
over that.
We have to remember that as voice actors, we're small business owners, and we're the product, we're the service, we're the voice of our own business, and it's really important that we're not only good at our craft, but we're good at communicating in general, at large, right? And not being afraid, not being fearful. What's the worst thing that could happen? Somebody says no. No big deal. And onward and upward we go.
Fantastic. And I think about how we get jobs most of the time auditioning. I don't care how good you are not going to book most of the jobs you audition for, and that's people telling you no. But you gotta go through a bunch of no's to get to the yes. So
Absolutely.
just just do it. Terry Briscoe, hi Dave, hi Melissa, Mrs. Mrs. Lisa. Oh, I think he's called Mrs. Miss Moats. What are the biggest interruptions in the 10 years since me and you started your coaching business? Huh? Do you have any advice for newer coaches? Oh, okay. Oh, Terry is coaching now too.
Oh, I
Yeah. What recommendations would you have for somebody that's been in this business a while and wants to become a voiceover coach?
Oh, that's kind of I mean, a tough one for me, other than um, just being really present with your students and really meeting them where they are and taking the time to, I don't really have like a one size fits all approach for every talent that I encounter. For me, it's just about really, being one on one with them and hearing what they need, not just in performance, but kind of reading all the subtext around what I'm picking up from them and just really going all in to help them as much as you can. So that would be my advice.
Okay, I've got a question here on the Voice Actors Studio. I know you do classes in person there, and I recall when the pandemic was happening, a little before, a little after, um, I did a hybrid class with you guys. How often are you getting students from other places other than Las Vegas?
All the time. So we have students all over the world now. All of our classes are hybrid now, or some of them are fully virtual, but I would say the majority of them have the hybrid option where if you're local to Las Vegas or you come to Las Vegas, you can come in for a class or you can just zoom in. They're they're very interactive and effective. From wherever. But I mean, it's been super cool. We've got students in Japan, Dubai, the UK, Germany, France. I mean, I always love anytime we're teaching a workshop, I'll say, hey, pop in chat where you're zooming in from. And we love to call it out because I'm blown away that people are finding out about us all over the world. It's just incredible.
You know, I had a feeling that was going to happen, and it's you. You are so magnetic, such a warm and caring and inviting person. When I've been there teaching, it's just amazing the relationship you have with students. Uh,
Thank you.
I think I'm a nice guy and have great relationships with them, but you just blow me away in your warmth. It's
Thanks for saying that, Dave. I feel kind of like I'm on this island out here, in Las Vegas, and I, I'm just, people find me, people find the studio. I'm not out there I'm not out there pushing it and trying really hard to let the world know I'm there and I'm a coach. I just feel like the people who are supposed to find me and align with me do. And when they're there and they're with me, I'm going to give them my all. And I know that people who work with me, they know that about me. And I just enjoy helping them. So it's so satisfying and rewarding to see somebody go from reading their first script to booking their first gig to getting their first agent to then, blowing up. So many of my talent are what I call like steady part-timers where they have their day job still or whatever their situation is, but then they have like a really solid side hustle as a voice actor. But I've had a lot of talent over the years build up their client base so much so that they've been able to quit their job and just do voice acting full time. I think it's harder to do that now, and I think it takes a longer period of time, but it's so rewarding to see people go from day one to all of that.
and I know this is kind of a wide open question, uh, but you see so many people that are trying to make that transition. Uh, how do you help somebody recognize when it's time to let go of that day job and commit to voiceover full time?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing I would look out for would be the consistency, like having a lot of regulars, a lot of building up like a nice sound regular client base where you know that there's some consistency happening, right? And you've got a lot of repeat clients that are coming back to you. So you start to go, okay, I can count on this, right? And then you go, I'm making X from this, and maybe it's the same amount as you're making in your day job. Or maybe I've had a lot of students say they're making more voice acting, on the side than they're making in their day job. And then I've said, I never like to say to someone like, okay, then go ahead and quit your job. I say, if you feel, don't quit your day job. I say, if you feel comfortable and you're really gaining traction and consistency with your voiceover, maybe downshift, go from doing whatever it is you do for your day job, do that part-time so you can open up more time and space to audition and market and even build your client base more. And then the final step might be walking away from your day job completely. So
Yeah.
that's a strategy.
Yeah.
But I never when people ask me, do you think I should quit my job? I'm always like, no, I don't think you
That's
should.
not for me to decide.
That is way too much responsibility for me to tell someone what to do.
I think you'll know when you know. Um,
Yeah, you
I,
do.
I, I have often told people, first of all, when you have decided that this is something that you want to do, that this is the career you want to make, and you're going to be leaving something at some point, don't use this time to buy a new car, to put a lot of things on your credit card. Save your money. Uh, Save your money. You're going to have to invest some back into your voiceover business, but don't get yourself into a lot of debt at that point. Don't buy the house before you start your business if it's going to be a little shaky. And also, even though you're going to have success, you're going to have some ups and downs. Uh, I don't know anybody in this business that just had an arc that went up and up and up and up and up and up. Sooner or later, you're the hot new kid, or I was, and then there was a drop, and then back again, and then there was a drop. So just understand when you're in business for yourself, which you are, um, you got to be careful with your money. We can do very
Yeah.
well in this business. I have. But a lot of times when you're making a lot of money, you're spending a lot of money too.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Oh
Yeah.
boy, let's see. Joy West again. Hi, Melissa. Where's the best place to find casting calls for medical narration or commercial VO work? Medical narration, I don't know why anybody wants to do that.
Wow, Joy, you love doing medical narration work. You must love those big, juicy, multi-syllable words that I feel like I'm Googling every one of those that I come across. The best advice I can give you is just to research the different casting sites because they're changing all the time. Each casting site out there, I think, has a variety of offerings, but some are definitely, they lean more toward commercial or they lean more toward not medical narration particularly, but I mean, there's probably a couple, but I would say just do your research. Do your research on Googling a lot of the different casting sites and figuring out what the kind of work that they have the most. And go from there. So I'm personally not real active in the casting sites anymore. I have a couple profiles up there just because I have a few clients that's the only way they book me year after year. But I haven't really dug into the casting sites in a long time to be able to give really good advice on that. So sorry about that, Joy.
Ah, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit, and we're going to kind of step away from voiceover for a minute. And I want to ask you, what made you decide to start writing children's books?
Oh, Dave, I love kids. I absolutely love children, and I wasn't able to have any kids of my own. I've had two bouts, two dances with cancer, and having my own babies was not in the cards for me. But I have so many amazing nieces and nephews. And when they were really small, I used to write little stories for them and record them in my booth and actually mail them CDs that they would listen to at bedtime. And they loved it. And, I didn't think much of it at the time. This is going back like 15 years ago. And my nieces and nephews most of them are all grown now. And they said, Auntie, our favorite stories when we were growing up were the ones you wrote. And they were all encouraging me to start publishing my books and my stories and stuff. And so I said, you know what? I don't know how that all works. I'm going to try to figure it out. And it started out as like a personal mission that I wanted to show my nieces and nephews that, you can figure out stuff that you don't know how it works. I was like, I have no idea how this works, but I want to get some books published. So I actually started my own publishing company called StoryPop, and I published 5 books so far, and actually 8 because 3 of my titles are in English and in Spanish. I'm working on getting the others in available in Spanish as well. I've gotten some really great help from just a shout out to my friend Andrea Balsa, who's an amazing bilingual voice actor. She's been so helpful in helping me translate my books and stuff. But yeah, so it all kind of started with the family, all encouraging me. And then one thing led to another, and I've been doing all kinds of cool stuff. I've been visiting. I think I've been to. I can't even count how many schools I've visited. I've been with tens of thousands of kids doing. I have an interactive show that I do when I visit schools, and it is just so rewarding and fun. And I'm passionate about literacy, and I'm passionate about self-love for kids to believe in themselves and feel good about who they are. And so anyway, I feel like I'm going on, but I just love it all so much.
Okay, but story pop has become something else beyond just being a book writer and publisher.
Yeah. So I've also, one of the things that was sort of on a bucket list for me was I always sort of daydreamed about having my own children's show. And I started to put together a variety show for kids. If you could imagine, for some of the people tuning in that maybe remember the Carol Burnett show or some of the variety shows of the 70s and early 80s, I loved those when I was a kid. Imagine a variety show for kids that has a lot of different stuff that's going on in it, from scavenger hunts to book reading to sing-alongs to I actually visit a lot of businesses and do what I call a story pop-in. Cirque du Soleil let me do a behind the scenes thing, for my show. And here in Vegas, there are so many entertainers, magicians, helicopter pilots. Everybody's letting me do all these cool behind the scenes things with them for my show. And I'm in the process right now of pitching it to some of the networks and streaming networks. So we'll see what happens. I have a 10 episode pilot season that I just finished. It took me like well over a year to put this thing together, but we'll see. Wish me luck.
So a pilot season for a show.
For this
Uh,
children's show. Yeah.
ah, so you'll
So
be like a children's host and doing fun things.
yes,
Oh,
it's fun and it's educational. It's on. I have a website for it. It's just StoryPop, but it's spelled with an I.
yeah.
StoryPop.com. But if you go to the website, if anybody's interested, you can see some of the episodes of the show there, and the books are there. And this has been a passion project. Like
Oh boy.
when I'm not when I'm not voice acting, which I voice act still every day at home here, and I'm here in my home studio. And then I teach at the studio a few nights a week. And then when I have spare time, I chip away at StoryPop. But I believe in it, and I think it's important and good for kids. So I'm
And
going to
it's
just
and
keep.
it's very much, even if you go make a little money from it, it's very much a give back and
It
something
is.
that you're doing out of the love of doing it. I,
Yes.
I have a little suggestion. What do you think
Yeah.
about animating some of the stories you've got? Is that
You
a
know,
thought?
you're, yes, I've had a couple of other brilliant people, such as yourself, say that to me, and it's a little something I'm looking into. But everything that I've done so far has been, for the show, it's been live on camera, filmed in front of a green screen, or me physically going to places to film for the other segment. But I will say all the books come with a read along audio book at the back. It's a QR code at the
Yeah.
back of the book,
Oh,
and you
cool.
can scan it, and it has a fun little surprise top secret narration. So that's been really fun. Gotta have an audiobook, for crying
Yeah.
out loud. I'm a voice actor. It'd be a crime if I didn't.
I could just see you continue writing, or actually perhaps have some other people come in to help with the writing and expanding the stories. And you've got all those voice actors. Uh,
Yes.
you could have a little animation studio along with the voice actor studio.
I love it. You know what? That's the thing that I love about just being in the creative space as a talent, is just there's so many different avenues to explore. And I just think that we're all so multifaceted with the different things that, set our soul on fire, and we can tap into, like you doing your, ask Dave Fennoy anything. I mean, look at all the people you're helping, and just you're so generous with teaching and knowledge and helping, and it's so inspiring, and I love what you're doing.
Well, I really enjoy this, and sometimes I feel a little guilty because people, oh, Dave, I really love what you're doing, man, and it's good. I get a lot of information. I'm like, you have no idea the joy that doing this brings me. Uh, One, because I get to interact with my friends and colleagues in a way that ordinarily we do not. I find out things, learn things about my colleagues and their careers that often I don't know. I've got a lot of friends that the Joe Ciprianos of the world, and we used to run into each other at studios all the time, and when Don LaFontaine was alive, so forth and so on. But that world has changed now. We're
Yeah.
all hermits at home in our studios, auditioning and working. Some of us teaching. I used to sometimes have students come here, but now everything is Zoom.
Yeah. No, it's nice to at least to be able to connect this way, but it can be isolating as a voice actor. I think it's really important to have community, and, to connect with your peers and connect with people who know more than you know about the industry just by having the experience. It's just, but this is a great way to do it,
Yeah.
and you're doing it well. And I always admire what you do, Dave.
Oh, thank you. Hey, listen, uh, what's the toughest, the worst, the most negative thing that's ever happened to you in voiceover? And I only bring this up because we're all going to have that bad session, at least one, probably more than that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we have to work with so many different personality types, I think probably for me, it's just been so many of my sessions, live directed sessions, are so pleasant and so wonderful. So that when you do get somebody that's directing you who just is kind of rude, in their direction, or they're just sort of, they don't have a filter, and they're kind of, I didn't like that. No, nah, nah, like whatever. you can really get in your own head really fast. Like, oh my gosh, like it's so, you feel like you just got slapped with a wet noodle, when somebody's, I mean, and it happens so infrequently that when it does happen, you're just like, oh my gosh, but it's funny how you can be on a microphone, no one can see you, you don't have to say a word, and just the way you sigh or breathe, they know on the other end how you feel about things.
And you actually have to be careful of that
Yes,
because you
you
don't
do.
always want to let them know that you're not feeling them.
Exactly. I mean, I'm real mindful of it. I mean, I'm a team player for sure. I'm not usually copping an attitude, but in those situations, I would just say sometimes people just they don't know what they want, and they really, put you through the ringer because they don't know what they want, or they do know what they want, but they want to get their money's worth.
Oh,
You knocked it out of the park and take one or take two, but they want to make sure they fill the whole hour
yeah,
with
I have
7,000.
been in those sessions. Well, I think we got it, but it's 15 minutes, and we got you for an hour. Let's do some other things. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? That's why you
I
hired me,
know.
because now you have more time to edit. Let me go. Let me go. Or my one of my least favorite. You're there with the junior exec, and
Mm-hmm.
you do the read, and then they got to find the guy on the tennis court tennis court or golf course to listen over the phone, and of course they are going to have something to say because they have to have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it can be
I know.
a
It's tough.
wacky business.
You just reminded me of one where I had two young gals directing me. It makes me feel weird to say young gals because that means I'm getting older, but they might have just been fresh out of college and they were directing me, and the girl just kept saying, um, "Oh, I can hear her like breathing," and I was thinking, yeah, I gotta have some oxygen. Gotta have some oxygen to do what I do. But I said, yeah, that actually can be cleaned up and edited in post. I said, we all breathe, voice actors breathe, and I said it politely, but I was thinking like, oh my gosh. And then I think my first take, they were just like, I didn't like it, and she's like breathing like loud, and I was like, oh gosh. So it's just stuff like that where you just kind of have to, you know, but.
I'm gonna ask about some pet peeves with auditions these days. I remember back in the day, there was always when you labeled something, it was the client. It was maybe what that particular commercial was. So often now, it's just your name, one other thing. Do you have Source Connect? And you can go through a day and have to use the same label 5 or 6 times. And of
Yeah,
course, that means it's difficult to save you. Why do they do that to us?
I know. I feel like the labeling and naming conventions are getting more and more like, like you said, just so many little bits to it, and they are repeated a lot. So yeah, I feel you.
And they slate or no slate, slate in the front, slate in the back, slate with how many
Hmm.
takes. Don't slate with any takes.
I know.
Ah!
I'm always like, I'll do my audition. I don't slate until the very end, like after I'm cleaning this thing up and doing
Me
whatever. And
too.
I'm always like, all right, I'm looking at the instructions, like, am I slating? What am I slating? How am I slating? And then I'll be like, run back in my booth and do my, do my slate. But yep.
We have to pay such close attention to all the details of
Yeah.
of commercials these days, uh,
Yeah.
and every now and then I screw it up, and I slate it and I sent it. Oh gosh, are they going to punish me for that? What am I going
I
to
know.
do? Let
Ah!
me get another question here. Shining Diamond. Hey, Dave, I love your work. I was curious to know if you have any fond memories from working all pro stars way back in the 90s. Well, I was hoping this was a question for you or both of us. Uh, but Yeah, that was one of the first cartoons I ever did. I had a starring role. I was Bo Jackson. It was an amazing experience, is all I can say. And I wish we would have gone on and had 15 or 16 seasons, but that didn't happen.
Hey, you're the definition of cool, Dave Fennoy. So
uh,
everything you do is cool, man.
we do what we can. Hey, so I understand you have some fun things going on at the Voice Actor Studio. What kind of things?
Yeah, I got a couple fun things to talk about. Number one, well, we did talk about that. We had just had our 10th anniversary. I'm just excited about that. It was just
Oh, you
wild.
know
10
that
years.
that is amazing. Most businesses don't make it 5 years.
Yeah, I just, again, going back to that first workshop where we had four people, I was just like, oh man. And now, I mean, thousands and thousands of people have been through our studio, and it's amazing to celebrate that. But a couple of other little things for us is just letting everybody know who gets a chance to see this that we do a script reading contest every month at our studio, and they're really fun. We always have really cool prizes, and one of the things we do is we produce out the winning read with music and sound effects, and whoever is our winning read of the month, they can do whatever they want with that
So
nice
that can go
little.
on their demo.
Yeah, they can throw it on their demo, they can show it off on social media, they can put it on their website, whatever they want to do with it. So that's a fun little thing we do. And then sometimes too, we do, people can win free classes, a free private session. We always try to mix it up and do something cool, but it's just a great little way to practice and, put yourself out there.
I,
And then I'm doing, oh, what were you going to say? I'm
I,
sorry,
I,
Dave.
say I love being there. Now I have a picture here of okay, there's where the classes take place, and you see the booth there. If I were teaching there, I'd be sitting at in one of those chairs and closer to the glass. The class will be filled with 14 or 15 or 16 people, but out of frame, you've got the Voice Actors Studio store, and
Yeah.
it's just so you've got T-shirts and you've got cups and you've got goofy little things and toy animals and
It's so fun. It's the T-Vaz shop, and I gotta tell you, I guess the little girl in me. It's like, yay, I get to play store. I get to play boutique. So it's fun. People love like our T-shirts, our hoodies, our tumblers. I mean, we have all kinds of fun stuff we throw in there, but I love that people love our brand and they love us and they enjoy wearing the shirts. It makes me feel so good that people are so into it. So
absolutely.
yeah, you know it. But yeah, and I'm gonna do a free Zoom too on June 4th. It's free to sign up on our website. So if anybody wants to go to the voiceactorstudio.com and sign up for the free Zoom, we're gonna do a fun Q&A kind of a session and a hangout. So hey Dave, if you got nothing going on, come hang
On
out with
June
us.
4th, I probably do. Oh, there she is. There she is. Somebody
Is
wants to
it
say
Mo?
hello.
Hi Mo.
Hi, beautiful.
I miss you, girl. I
I
haven't
miss you
seen you in a
more.
minute. You looking good.
I'm gonna say thank you because I'm just coming in from work, and so look. Hey, sorry.
Talking to the
Oh
microphone.
no, I'm not talking to the microphone.
But she can't hear you if you
Hey,
don't.
Melissa, I love you. I miss you. We gotta get there. Look at you.
I
Okay.
love you. I miss you. And you always are stunning. I'm happy to see you, girl.
I'm gonna say thank you because I just came in from work. But you guys go and finish doing asking Dave.
Yeah. We're
Bye.
asking
Tell
you
your
all
hubby
kinds of
hey.
stuff. Bye. Bye, Mo.
Oh, that's my baby. That's my baby.
Jeez.
I was talking to her earlier today, and Melissa's on. I'm going to try to get there. I know I'm running late, but I'm going to try to get there. So anyway, I'm glad she
Aw,
did.
you
I
too.
want, Melissa, I just want to thank you for taking the time to be here to share yourself. I have one last question, and that
Okay.
is, how do you balance your time between working and the voice actor studio and writing books and doing your shows for kids? How do you do it?
I love all of it. I think that's the name of the game is that, when you're loving what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it's definitely energy, I'm putting out a lot of energy, but I love it all so much that it's easy. But I would say I'm focused. I'm a very focused person. I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I don't have any real vices, other than loving people real hard. Um, um, honestly, I'm real focused. When I'm working on my voiceover, I shut out all distractions, shut off my phone. I'm not messing around. When I'm out working on my show, I'm real focused. So I think that's the thing. I love it and I'm focused. And that's helping me get results. But I feel really fortunate to get to do all the things I love.
Well, fantastic. I feel really fortunate that I was able to get you on, and let's give a hand. Hey, Melissa Moats. Thank you so much for joining me. And we have to get scheduled again for
I
us
would
to
love
come up.
it.
We make it a vacation when we come up to Vegas. We'll get up there Friday, have Friday night. I get to teach all day on Saturday. Mo goes and
It's,
has fun.
yep.
Yeah, but fantastic,
I
fantastic,
would love it.
fantastic.
You and I'll talk. We got to get you back out here soon because
Yeah.
everybody's always asking about you. And when's Dave coming back? So we'll make it so.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, and tell Troy we said hello.
Absolutely. Mwah. Thanks again for
Give him
having
a
me.
big hug and kiss for us.
Bye, Dave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Melissa Moats, my goodness, she is just a world of wonderful and so giving and so very, very talented. I want to thank her once again. So remember, all the Ask Dave Fennoy's Anything, including this one, are available on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. And if you're interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top and book yourself. And now that time is up, I've got my usual message. Book something. See you next week.